Hello to everyone. Here we are on the lesson of Thursday. That's going to be 23rd of April. We'll be starting with the last lesson. That's lesson 6 of chapter 3. Anyhow, you have already done these lessons and it's not going to be a difficult one. I hope so you remember. I have no idea how many of you remember this, but we have learned the formula for slope intercept form and the point slope form. So already in algebra we did this, but again here we are in geometry. We just have to repeat the lesson. It's going to be like a revision for you, that's all. Okay, so this is going to be lesson 6, page number 190 in your book. So before I start, quickly let me just explain what the things are for you. So I will start with this here. This is hopefully, yes, you do remember this. No, I will not show you or do all these things with you. Fine. So this is what is important, the forms of the equation of a line. So in this lesson, we'll be asked to graph a line or write the equation of the line in point slope form, or we'll be asked to write it in the point slope intercept form. Now already we know, we are very familiar with the formula point slope intercept, y is equal to mx plus b. But the point slope form was also easy. If you can remember, of a line is the point slope form of a line is y minus y1 equals m, that's the slope, in parenthesis x minus x1. So in the question for you, m, that's the slope, will be given, and x1 and the values of x1 and y1 will be given also. The one of the points will be of course given to you. You just have to put them in the point slope form. Now as well, if you could remember, the points, the coordinate which they have given for you, they would give for you, is related to x1 and y1. Okay, and the slope of course will be given. If the slope is not given also, then if the question requires, if we have to find the slope. Okay, but compared to the slope intercept form, the point slope form writing is more easier. Now the slope intercept form of a line is y is equal to mx plus b. All of us know that m is the slope and b is the y intercept. And what is y intercept? Where the line touches the y-axis is called as the y-intercept. That's when x is 0, what is y? Simply, that's all. So if they say write it in point intercept, slope intercept form, your answer should be y equals mx plus b. And point slope form, it should be y minus y1 equals m, that's the slope, in parenthesis x minus x1. Now also they have given the equation of a vertical line is x is equal to a, where a is the x-intercept. You know how a vertical line looks like. This is a vertical line. The standing line is called as the vertical line. Now the equation for this is going to be x is equal to a, where a is the x-intercept. Now what is x-intercept? If y-intercept is when x is equal to 0, x-intercept is going to be when y is equal to 0. What is the value of x when y is going to be equal to 0? That's all. Now the next one, the equation of a horizontal line is y is equal to b, where b is the y-intercept. So horizontal means the sleeping line like this. Okay, yeah. So the equation of a horizontal line is going to be y equals b, where b is the y-intercept. Everywhere if you find b, that's going to be the y-intercept. Okay, so remember, a line with y-intercept b, read it carefully. A line with y-intercept contains the point 0 and the y-intercept. So what do they mean by this? What they are saying is, we know b means it's y-intercept. So when you are writing a line which has the y-intercept, that means your coordinates should be 0, and then what is y-intercept? Means x is 0. So what is the y-intercept? Again, the same one here, a line with x-intercept. So as they have shown, y-intercept is b, x-intercept is a. So instead of writing x-intercept, we write the variable a there. Contains the point a, that's the x-intercept. What is x-intercept? When y is 0, what is x? Simple. So in y-intercept, x is going to be 0. In y-intercept, in y-intercept, x is going to be 0. X-intercept, y is going to be 0. If you are clear with these 2 points, The rest of the lesson is very easy. Okay, now let's just quickly look at one of the examples. Write the equation of each line in the given form. Okay, so they have given you the line with slope 6. So the slope is going to be 6. Slope means which variable are we going to use for slope? M. So M is 6. So it's passing through 3 and -4 in point slope form. Now, first of all, we have to remember what is the point slope form. What was the formula for point slope form? Y minus y1 equals, this is point slope form we are talking about. So y minus y1 equals m in parenthesis x minus x1. Right? So this is the point slope form. You have to remember it. Now, once we have got this, easy as that, we can leave y because we don't know the value of y, but we know what is y1. Always we know this is x1, y1. So this is going to be y1. So you're going to be writing y minus 4. So minus 4 will become plus 4, right? Equals m. M is the slope, that's 6. In parenthesis, again, we don't know what's x, but x1 we know is going to be -3. So all what you're going to do is this. See? So in place of y remains the same. Minus is for the equation, but y1 is -4. So we put them in parenthesis because we don't want to get confused. Finally, it will become a +4. Equals, the slope is 6. X is, that's the value of x is going to be 3. Right? Sorry, the value of x we don't know, but x1 is going to be 3. So minus from the equation and x1 is going to be 3. So once you solve, you'll be left with this. Okay, either you can write it as y plus 4, but they want you to keep it like this because there is a minus sign. So it's fine like this or it's fine like that. Anyhow, we need it in the point slope form. Okay, now the next one is write the equation of each line in the given form. Now in this question, they want you to write it in slope intercept form. Now when they're asking for slope intercept form and they have given you 2 coordinates. So the first step is find the slope. So to find the slope, you have to use y2 minus y1 equals x2 minus x1. So that's what they did here. This is for slope intercept form. So this is x1 y1, x2 y2. So 2 minus 0, that is y2 minus y1. x2, 1 minus 1, so that will become 1 plus 1, right? So 2 minus 0 is 2, 1 plus 1 will become, minus will become plus here, so 1 plus 1 is 2, 2 over 2 is going to be 1, so the slope for this is going to be 1. Now it's easy for us to write in the slope intercept form. What's the formula for slope intercept form? Y is equal to mx plus b. So how am I going to write it? Y equals, m is 1, usually we don't write m there in place, 1 in place of m. So x is going to be, let me show this. Okay, so this is what you're going to be writing. Y is 0 because we have to find the y-intercept too. They did not give us the y-intercept also, so we have to find the y-intercept. So the first thing is find the slope, next is find the y-intercept. How do you find the y-intercept? You can use any one coordinate. Okay, either this or either this. So they have chosen this. You can choose this too, no problem. The y-intercept will be same. So in place of 0, they wrote y, they wrote 0. The slope is 1. Okay, and x is again -1 plus b. So 1 into -1 is going to be -1, right? So 0 plus 1, when -1 comes to the other side, that becomes a +1. So that's going to be 1 is equal to b. So now we have found also the y-intercept. So we have the slope, we have the y-intercept. We can simply write the formula as y is equal to x plus 1. How did we get x plus 1? The slope, mx. M is 1, so we don't write 1 usually, right? So that's going to be x plus the b, that is the y-intercept is going to be 1, so it's 1. Okay, now this is another kind of question. Write the equation of each line in the given form. The line with the x-intercept 3 and y-intercept is -5 in point slope form. Again, point slope form, I don't need to keep repeating the formula. We all know the point slope form, right? But we have to find the slope for it, of course. Without the slope, you cannot do anything. So we will use the points 3 and 5, 3, -5 to find the slope. So they said x-intercept is 3, that means the y is 0 and y-intercept is -5, which means x is 0, right? So using that points, they found out the slopes first. They found out the slope first, and then what they did, they wrote it in point slope form. So the slope was 5/3. So this is how you need to be writing. Okay, so it will be clear more when they had just simplified, nothing else. They removed the 0. That's all they did. Okay, so it will be clear once you start doing these questions. So before I start, you just watch this and then we will start doing the related questions.
The equation of a line can be written in different forms. Here's one form, and it's called the point slope form. Let's do this problem. We're being asked to write the equation of a line with slope 4 through point 1, 2 in the point slope form. Well, according to the form, it says y minus y sub 1, in this case it's 2, is equal to the slope, which is 4 here, times x minus, and the x coordinate is 1. We're through. Let's do another one. That one's simple. Okay. We want to write the equation of a line. This time we're being given 2 points. One is 0, -2, and the other one is 4, 2. And we're being asked to write it in the slope-intercept form. The slope-intercept form, you're familiar with that. That's the y equals mx plus b. Well, if we want to write it in this form, we need 2 things. We need to know the slope, and we need to know b, which is the y-intercept. Well, first thing, let's find the slope. We're given 2 points. How do you find the slope? Remember, it's the difference of the y coordinates over the difference of the x coordinates. Rise over run. Remember that? Let's do it. Let's find the slope first. The slope, 2 minus a -2 over the difference of the x coordinates, 4 minus 0. And that's equal to 4 over 4, which is equal to 1. So our slope is 1 when we have these 2 points. Now we need to find the y-intercept. Okay? Well, to find the y-intercept, let's still use the y equals mx plus b. Okay? We know the slope, and we know one ordered pair because we're trying to find the y-intercept. Okay? Well, let's use this ordered pair, 4, 2. I like using positive numbers. All right, y, we're going to substitute 2. We're trying to find b. Equals the slope is 1 times the x, we're going to substitute 4, plus b. And what do we end up with? 2 equals 4 plus b, and b is equal to a -2. If we subtract 4 from both sides, we're going to get b equals -2. We know the y-intercept. We know the slope. Can we write the equation of the line through these 2 points in slope-intercept form? Yes, we can. It's y equals, the slope is 1. We'll just go ahead and say x is understood to be 1, and b is -2, and we can just simply write y equals x minus 2. That's the equation of a line through these 2 points, and this is written in slope-intercept form. Let's try another one. In this example, we have the x-intercept is -3 and the y-intercept of 2. And we're being asked to write the equation of the line in the point slope form. Well, I don't see any ordered pairs, but I can write ordered pairs because I know the x-intercept is a -3. And writing that as an ordered pair, that's a -3, 0. And if the y-intercept is 2, that can be written as 0, 2. Now I have two ordered pairs. And now I can find the slope. The slope is equal to 2 minus 0. I'm going to start with the 2 over the difference of the x coordinates. It's 0 minus a negative 3. And that's equal to 2 over a positive 3. We need to remember that the slope is 2/3. Now, it says write the equation in the point slope form. Sometimes I forget these different forms. So let's go back to it. The point slope form is y minus y sub 1 equals m slope times the quantity x minus x sub 1. So let's substitute. We're going to get y minus, let's use this ordered pair right here. I'll use this one. Y sub 1 is 0 equals, our slope is 2/3 times x minus negative 3. So I'm going to make this brackets. Okay. Now, let's just go ahead and simplify this. Y equals 2/3 times, remember in subtraction, add the opposite. It simply will be x plus 3. Got it.
Okay, so I hope that was clear for you. You will not even need my explanation for that. I don't know why, just when I looked at that lady, I just felt like laughing, that's all. Okay, so let's start doing the questions. Fine, so this is going to be page number 194. So question number 2, 3, and 4. That's all we're going to do today, because they are all different kinds of forms which they are asking for. And then I will give you the remaining, some questions to do by yourself. Fine. So let's see question number 2. Write the equation of each line in the given form. So question number 2 is the line through 4, 7. Now this is a pair of coordinates and -2 and 1 in slope-intercept form. Now, as we know, first let's write down the slope-intercept form. The slope-intercept form is going to be y is equal to mx plus b. This is going to be the slope-intercept form. Okay, but they did not give us the slope because we need m here, and also we need the y-intercept, which they did not give anything. So we have to be finding the slope as well as the y-intercept. So first let's find the slope. Okay, so I'm going to find the slope here first. So I'm not writing the formula. We all are very well aware of the formula now. So it's going to be y2, that's going to be 1 minus 7, okay, over -2 minus 4. Okay, so this is going to be 1 minus 7 is going to give you -6. This is going to give you a -6, and then -2, -4 is going to give you a -6 as well, right? So what happens is negative and negative will get cancelled, and then 6 divided by 6 will give you 1. So the slope is going to be 1. Fine. So with the help of this now, let's find the y-intercept. So to find the y-intercept, of course, we'll have to use the form y is equal to mx plus b again. So y is equal to, let me choose any one coordinate and then put it straight, because I don't have enough space to, and then you can understand what I'm doing. So I will use this coordinate because both of them are positive, so it's easy for us to solve. So I'm going to substitute the first pair of coordinates in y is equal to mx plus b. So y, that's 7, equals, the slope is 1, right? X is going to be 4, so 1 multiplied by 4 plus b. What did I do? Okay, 1 multiplied by 4 plus b. So 1 4s are going to be 4, right? So then it's going to be 7 minus 4. So in that way, if you see 7 minus 4 is going to give you 3. So the y-intercept is going to be 3. So now finally, let's write it in the y-intercept form. So slope-intercept form, slope-intercept form. So you start with y equals, what is the slope? 1. So we don't write 1, right? So we leave it. Then x, we write x plus, what's the y-intercept? It's 3. So this is going to be your answer. Y is equal to x plus 3. Easy, isn't it? If you didn't understand, quickly let me repeat it. So if they have given you two slopes and they're asking you to find the slope-intercept form, first write the slope-intercept form, find the slope. So in this question, we found the slope as 1, use the formula y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Then the next step is find the y-intercept. So in y-intercept, you can choose to find the y-intercept. You can choose any one pair of coordinates. I have chosen this because it's all, both of them are positive, so it's easy for us to work with. Substitute it in this formula. So y is 7 equals, the slope is 1 as we found out, and x is 4, so which means multiplied by 4 plus b. So 1 multiplied by 4 is 4, so that will become 7 minus 4 equals 3, which is the y-intercept. So that's going to be y is equal to m. M is 1. We don't write 1x, we just write x plus 3. Okay, fine. Moving to question number 3. The line through negative 4, 2 with slope 3 over 4 in point slope form. Now, this is a very easy one. They have given us a pair of coordinates and they also gave us the slope. So first let's write down the point slope form. So that's going to be y minus y1 equals, right, m, and inside the brackets that's going to be x minus x1. Okay, now let's just substitute it. What are the things we need? We need a y value, we need an x value, and we need the slope, which all the three things we have. We are not really bothered about this y or x because they are going to be the same y and x. So y minus y1 is going to be 2, right, equals, now m, that's the slope, is going to be 3 over 4 in brackets. Now 4 should be down, but I cannot write, so I'll try to write it, else it's going to be beside it. X, again, we don't need to find x because for us x1 is given, which is going to be negative 4. Negative 4. Okay, now only what you need to be doing is just simplify this part, that's all. This one. Let me write the slope first. Slope is 3 over 4. Okay, so slope is 3 over 4. X minus is from the formula, and negative 4 is from x1. So only simplify this one. Minus into minus will give you a plus 1, right? So let me just erase that and write plus. That's all. You know how it became plus now. So in slope intercept for point slope form, it's going to be y minus 2 equals 3 over 4 x plus 4. An easy question. Okay, let's go to question number 4. Now this is where a bit more steps are being needed, that's all, but it's easy. The line with x-intercept 4 and y-intercept of negative 2 in point slope form. So first let's write down the coordinates. This the tip I can give you. Whenever you have a question like this, you have to write the coordinates, that's all. So for this one, x-intercept 4, let's write down the coordinates. That's going to be, what does x-intercept means? When y is 0, what is x? So when y is 0, x is 4. Okay, now y-intercept is negative 2 means when x is 0, y is going to be negative 2. So these are the two coordinates we have. So once we have written down the coordinates, we have to find out the slope because we need to write that in the slope intercept form. So the next step is I'm going to find the slope. So m is equal to y2, that's negative 2, minus, let me give some space, minus y1, that's 0, over x2, that's going to be 0, over x1. So 0 minus 4. Negative 2, negative 0 is going to give you, okay, negative 2, negative 0 is going to give you how much? 2, right? Then negative 0 is going to give you negative 2. Fine. Then 0 minus 4 is going to give you, 0 minus 4 is going to give you a negative 4. Now, The negatives will get cancelled, of course. Also, you can still simplify this, right? You know, we have found enough slopes. So whenever there are numbers to simplify, you need to simplify them. So the negatives get cancelled. You can simplify this with 2. So 2 divided by 2 will give you 1, and 4 divided by 2 will give you 2. So the slope for this question is going to be I'll just write it here. So the slope for this question is going to be 1 over 2. Fine. Now that we have found the slope, all what we need to do is write it in slope-intercept form. So what's the slope-intercept form? Y, again, it's here. Okay, I'm not going to be writing it again. You can refer to the formula from this. So I'm just going to put the numbers in place. That's all I'm going to do. So I can choose any one coordinate. Either I use this or I choose this. Doesn't matter. Okay, so let me choose this one, 0 and -2. So let me put that in the form. So y, we always start with the y, minus y1 is -2. So again, if I write a -2 there, it's going to be something like this. So finally, when you simplify it, it's going to be, right, it's going to be +2. So rather than writing -2, I just wrote it as +2 equals, okay, what's the next thing? The slope. So the slope was 1 over 2. Okay, and what's the next thing? You have to put them in in parenthesis. X is going to be x, okay, minus, what is x1? It's going to be 0. Now, okay, so this is the form of the y-intercept one. Fine, but what you can do here is still you can further simplify this. How are you going to further simplify this? Because when you can simplify y-intercept, slope-intercept form, you must do it. Okay, how are you going to be doing it? Okay, so as we have here, y plus 2, this is now in the point slope form, but the question says we need to write it in slope intercept form. So what we are going to do is change this thing back into slope intercept form. So what's the formula for slope intercept form? That's going to be y is equal to mx plus b. So we need to change this whole thing into the form y is equal to mx plus b. So it's easy, nothing difficult, just that half you have to multiply by each of them. So half multiplied by x will become half x. Okay, half multiplied by 0 is of course 0. It doesn't matter. Now, only thing you need to move this +2 to the other side. So what happens? That becomes a -2. So finally, your answer is going to be, it doesn't respond as usual. Okay, so finally, your answer is going to be y. Okay, I hope you have understood what I said. All what you're going to do is just simplify this part first. Okay, so half x is going to be, half multiplied by x is going to be half x. And half multiplied by 0 is going to be 0. Fine, we are not bothered about that. Then this +2, move it to the other side, that will become -2. So how are you going to have your answer? Y is equal to half x. So half, I will write the x 2 later down. So half x minus 2. So this is going to be your answer in slope intercept form. Hope it's clear. All what you got to do is write the coordinates first. X-intercept is 4, means y is 0. Y-intercept is -2, means x is 0. So these are the two coordinates. So step 1, write the coordinates. Step 2, find the slope. Step 3, put them back in point slope form. Okay, this is step number 3. Once you have them in point slope form, simplify them into point slope form. You will have something like this. So this was all your lesson for today. Tomorrow, hopefully, not tomorrow, next week. After that, we will see What we can do with these questions, they are easy, as you all know how to graph lines, how to say they are parallel, intersect, or what. And then your homework for this week is going to be, the weekend is going to be just question number 13, 14, and 15. That's all, nothing more. So until I meet you all in the next video, take care of yourselves and stay safe.